I am both surprised and deeply humbled by the decision of the Nobel Committee.
President Obama humbled. He's getting the Nobel Peace Prize. But why is he getting it? Chris Wallace, Marc Lamount Hill, and Laura Ingraham will weigh in.
Continuing now with our lead story, President Obama receives the Nobel Peace Prize. Joining us from Philadelphia, Fox News analyst Dr. Marc Lamount Hill. Okay, your take on this is?
I'm stunned when I wake up this morning and find out that Barack Obama wins the Nobel Peace Prize. I'm sort of a traditionalist when it comes to these sort of things. I assume that someone who wins the Nobel Peace Prize would, I don't know, bring about peace. And yet somehow, you know, after prosecuting a war in Iraq, Afghanistan, we have unsafe people in Palestine and in Israel. We have people dying on the streets of Chicago here in the United States. He wins a peace prize. It's mind-boggling to me. I'm shocked and I'm disappointed. Why would you be disappointed, though? In the talking points, I made the point that it's good for America. It's good for the country to have the world think that we are. What it does is, first of all, it obscures a whole lot of stuff that's going on around the globe. If we can prosecute 2 wars and still be seen as agents of peace, that's somewhat troublesome to me. If we can see nuclear proliferation in Iran and North Korea, if we see weapons being smuggled to terrorist networks potentially, and we still say that we're a nation of peace, that might actually cover up the work that really needs to be done here. But it also shows that the Nobel Board is really all about politics. The last 3 people who have gotten it have been Democrats who have sort of lashed out at Bush. And so really this is more of an anti-Bush award than a pro-Obama award. And don't get me wrong.
Be that as it may, but I'm not buying your analysis about Afghanistan and Iraq, because the action in Afghanistan actually helped promote world peace. Our presence in that country deprives al-Qaeda, the most dangerous instrument in the world today for violence, deprives them of a place where they can hatch terror plots. So we, by being in Afghanistan...
But that's not the Nobel's board, though. That's not the Nobel board's argument, though.
No, I'm attacking your argument. I don't care about the Nobel board. I already called them dopes, I believe, or fools, or some ridiculous, immature thing. I've already taken care of that. I'm now mocking you. Because in Afghanistan, if we weren't there, the world would be a lot more violent, okay? In Iraq, the same thing. We're there.
But that's not peace, Bill. But that's not peace. If you're brokering...
Sometimes the only way to get peace is to beat the bad guys who are causing the war, i.e. the Germans and the Japanese in World War II.
Then wait until the end of the war. Don't do it. We're about to send 40,000 more troops tomorrow, hopefully. If that is in fact the case, then we can't say that we're brokering peace now. Let's wait 3 years from now when the region is peaceful.
Okay.
If the region is peaceful, give them the award.
That's all right. But your theory that we, the United States, are not instruments of peace because we wage just wars, I don't think is valid. But okay, so you, Hill and O'Reilly are on the Nobel Peace Prize Committee, which of course would clear out Oslo very, very quickly. You know, restaurants would have plenty of tables. Who do you give the Nobel Peace Prize to?
Oh my God! If anything, I'd be more interested in giving it to someone. If we're going to give it to an American, giving it to someone who's doing something with environmental justice. We have people like Majora Carter, who's doing environmental justice work right now. We could go internationally and look at people who are waging anti-war efforts rather than prosecuting wars. And again, even if you believe that war is the pathway to peace, which I think is absurd and bizarre, then you have to wait until the end of a war to make that happen, not now.
You know, I would have given the Nobel Peace Prize to General David Petraeus, who stopped the killing and the carnage in Iraq pretty much single-handedly. Probably not this year, would have been last year. Because this is my theory. A guy like Petraeus, because of what he did, all right, brought all the level of violence down in Iraq, and now that country at least has a chance to be free, and he did something extraordinary, and he deserves a Peace Prize. Why would I be wrong on that?
I'll say this. I don't agree with you because I disagree with the premise of the war in Iraq, and I think to give Petraeus an award for engaging in a surge, which actually works, almost supports the idea of war. That's troublesome to me. But I will agree with you to this extent. I think Petraeus is a much better candidate than Obama, and I think Obama would probably agree with that.
Well,
he was the worst possible candidate.
I think Obama was sincerely taken aback. He didn't know anything about this. So you say that the reason the president got the Nobel Peace Prize is because the Norwegians hate Bush so much, they just wanted to rub it in his face and give it to his predecessor. That's what your analysis is?
That's one piece of it. The other piece is that they want to continue to play an active role in American politics right now. Obama's been on the fence for the last 3 weeks trying to figure out what he's going to do with Afghanistan. Some of us want to see him pull troops out. Some of us want to see him put more troops in. But when you see someone, an awards board right now, sort of weighing in on Obama's presidency already by saying he's an agent of peace, it makes it kind of harder to send 40,000 troops tomorrow.
So it doesn't. It doesn't make it harder.
Well, in terms of public perception, it absolutely does. If you just celebrated him as a global agent of peace, and then he goes and sends 40,000 soldiers.
He doesn't care. He's got the award. He's got the money. He made the speech. It's all good. So what does he care next Tuesday if somebody in Oslo goes, oh, maybe we shouldn't have given it to him? Well, you pinheads. You gave it to him for no good reason at all, so you take what comes.
I don't think that the Obama administration cares about the Norwegian board per se, but they're very much preoccupied with public perception. If anything, the Obama administration, more than any other administration in recent memory, has read its own press clippings and has been very careful to craft a particular public image.
If they're sincerely interested in public perception, they'll have to send the 40,000 troops because that's what most Americans want them to do.
Right now, most Americans are against this war, and I think when you have a Nobel... absolutely
it's 43-43 on the last poll, but when asked if Obama is doing enough to win the war, 50% of Americans say no. So if he doesn't do it, I'll tell you what, he's going to get hammered if he doesn't send them. I'll give it the last word.
I think that, again, when you have a Nobel Peace Prize that celebrates him as an agent of peace, it only stokes public's fervor against the war and makes it much more difficult for him to engage in winning a war. Now, I'm not pro-war, but if you're trying to win a war, as Obama says he is, this makes it harder, and I think you'll see him make some bad decisions in the next coming weeks.
All right. Doctor, thanks very much. Directly ahead, all kinds of